Welcome everybody to this PayTrace Power30. My name is Sam Johnson and I am joined by my colleague and friend, Greg Castro. We're going to get some more on Greg in a moment. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about what Power30 is for some of you newbies. Power30 is a 30-minute session to give you some insight into PayTrace, what's going on, industry expertise, and your opportunity to chat with us directly. This is recorded, so if you've got buddies that aren't able to attend here live, it's going to be on our YouTube channel later. Check that out, like and subscribe. And also, if you have questions, comments, I'm expecting some emotional outbursts today.
Jokes.
Good.
No,
I'll take jokes. I'll take jokes. If you got jokes, send them in. Use the Q&A feature on your Zoom panel. Send those through. We're going to take about 5 to 10 minutes at the end of this call to address and respond to as many questions as we can. Those that we can't live, we're going to pass that over and to the rest of our team, and we're going to take care of those afterwards. So without further ado, I'm really excited to announce. Yeah, we're announcing Greg Castro. Welcome, Greg.
super glad to be here.
So if you don't know, Greg is El Presidente as of a few months, right?
Yes, I've just completed my 6th month. Yeah.
Congrats.
So I'm in the 7 months now.
You're out of your probation period. You're here to stay.
That happened at 28 days. I think I was out of probation going into the lion's den. So
we trust you, man.
Yeah.
So really excited to announce that, right? It's a big deal. Some new leadership, some new faces coming to PayTrace. I just want to get to know you a little bit more and share a little bit more with our audience. What's kind of your background in payments? What brought you here today?
Wow. Good question. I start by answering that by I'm incredibly fortunate to be here. I have been in the space for payments over 26 years. I started as an ISO, dragging a bag, going door to door and promising great service and terminals and leases and all that stuff. And over those 26 years, I worked with some amazing people. A lot of them are still mentors of mine today. A ton of that was really hard, a lot of challenges, a lot of failures along the way, but you always had someone to pick you up. And then where I start by saying I'm a fortunate individual. A lot of those people that I worked with as peers, as leaders, subordinates, I am here because of that. I've been incredibly fortunate along my path. I've worked again for some great individuals, people that are now facing some retirement decisions. And I mean, that's the ultimate goal, right? Is to sail off in the sunset. And I get to say that I've worked for a lot of those people, and I'm fortunate for it. So that's awesome. my response, my canned response for something like that is, I don't like to say it, I've worked hard and did all that great stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people say that, and look, all of that is an obvious piece, but learning from some of the best in payments, and payments is a fantastic space. It's not always fun, right? We have some tough phone calls, but the end result, look at our ecosystem that we're in. I mean, it's massive. Yeah. It's fantastic. And you learn something new every day. So fortunate.
And one thing I think is interesting is the fact that I'm not going to say nobody, because maybe there are some people out there, but a lot of people don't go into, their professional career saying, I want to do payments. I'm going to do payments. No. Personally, I have a sports business degree. I didn't know I'd end up in payments eventually, but you kind of took a different path, right? Because your formal education is in
architecture. Actually, I went to school for, yes.
Yeah. So
we don't have enough time to get into that story and how I got here.
I figured.
But yeah, it's thinking you're a big deal, going into an industry that I thought was really good at, and market sort of tanked and crashed. And in the meantime, I had cars and credit cards and everything that I had to pay for. So I had to do something else. And I found myself in sales.
Yeah. And it works, right?
It worked out.
It worked out pretty okay.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Well, one of the things that, I wanted to address kind of early on and up front is, right, you are kind of the new leader of PayTrace, essentially. And I know a lot of folks that have been partnered with us for a while, knew our previous leadership. They knew Scott Judkins. Can you kind of talk us through what the intention of your role is and why that was brought on?
Sure. So we have everyone watching us today, right? Because PayTrace is this phenomenal product, and it's, I worked in my prior life. We were a big PayTrace user. There are several, we're close to 40,000 customers. Yeah. There's a lot to be said of that. 400 partners. I mean, in 17 years old, I think, when Scott started this back in the day, I believe. he built a phenomenal organization, something that people related to, something that people could use and promote their business, make their business better. And I think along the way, it got to this like, holy smoke moment, like we are really big. I mean, 40,000 customers is massive. $40 billion processed through PayTrace's, through Scott's creation. That's an impressive feat, right? I think Scott had come to the point where he realized this, I've hit my pinnacle, right? I'm at the top of Everest, but his love for you all, the PayTrace people that are here, the company, the organization, and its customers, he doesn't want that to end. Right. And so he had noticed like, this is, I've done it. I've hit what I set out to do. And he was fortunate enough to build something this massive. He had a lot of people. In my prior life, we were looking at PayTrace, and we lost out to NAB, of course, but that's a massive feat. And I think what he did during that acquisition and how he positioned the organization to continue for everyone that's an employee here and will soon be an employee here, it's phenomenal. I mean, you envy. I said it earlier in my being fortunate here, people want to be Scott. Right. How would you love to build something like this that is this contagious, right? That it's a viral solution almost. And for that to be your little baby, right? It's a big deal.
Oh, yeah, and for sure.
Being fortunate, I'm super humbled to be here, coming in and realizing the organization, the size of the organization, and all the things that we have, the under the hood pieces. It's impressive.
Right. Yeah. And, speaking from experience, I've worked with Scott for 7 years and it's been fantastic. I like to say that I've been in the golden age of PayTrace, and I'm really excited to now see, well, what's really the next steps? What's going to be the evolution of this company? And I'm really excited, not only for you, but there's also a lot of faces here. I don't know if people are going to be walking by behind us, but we got a lot of new faces here at PayTrace. We've been doing a lot of hiring, and we're going to be doing some cool stuff. So with that said, Greg, I know you have a vision and you've talked about your vision a lot. I haven't heard it the 7 times yet that I think I need to hear it. I think I'm on like 4 times. But when you think about PayTrace and kind of our evolution, what do you see as kind of the progression?
Okay. Outside of world domination.
I mean,
we'll get into specifics.
Okay.
So like I just said earlier, PayTrace is a phenomenal platform. We've got a ton of customers and partners that hopefully attest to that fact that we do. We are a service first organization. Our technology is some of the best, some of the most reliable, and it's continued to scale over the years.
Right.
And so as that has now come to a point where, okay, let's scale that. Let's take it to the next level. And not just from a technology, but from a process, from a people, from a product standpoint. That investment is going to continue, right? Taking Scott's vision and let's call it dreams, right? And then taking that to the next level. We refer to it, some of us, as 2.0. Here as, taking PayTrace to what it was. So, but the luxury we have is building scale on top of an already really high performing product. Right. And it's something that our customers know and trust and love, and hopefully their customers feel the same. But to build on that is an easier, I won't say easy, but it's an easier task. And what we're doing now is, I do seriously, in all honesty, I want to dominate. I want to be de facto in the B2B space. And through our sales and partnership channels, I think we can get there. There's a ton of work for us to do. You mentioned, Sam, that we've added so many heads in the short period of time that I've been here. And that effort was well underway prior to being here. But, we brought in some really superstar talent on our development side or IT side, and we're investing a ton more in that piece of it, because we want to make sure that our product is, again, incredibly secure as it always has been, but we're going to challenge that platform, and we're going to build on top of that and scale it to some significant numbers. Right. And we need to make sure that it's going to always do what we've always said it does, right? The Justin Potters and Goes of the world, and our client services, service first product that we have. That's one thing I hear when I go to trade shows is how great PayTrace is, not because it does what it does, but because someone answers the phone. Right. And to scale that, one is, that becomes a cost, but 2 is we have to make sure that our service and our product is top notch. And so we're going to continue that effort, aggressively continue that effort.
And I appreciate that, because, we put a lot into our identity, a lot into our brand and our reputation as, we are a really solid, reliable solution. And I'm really excited to hear that that's not changing, right? PayTrace is still PayTrace, but like you said, 2.0, it's really going to be how can we scale? How can we grow? What's going to be the next thing?
Yeah, I mean, like heavy investment in some of the technology pieces, some of the product pieces, but the people.
Yeah.
Right. We are doubling down on the people and trying to mimic, right, build some scale and, you know, the repeatable process with what we have now. That's what's so treasured and loved in the industry.
Right.
When you scale that, look, everyone gets really big and all of a sudden, wow, you don't answer the phone quite as fast as you used to, or gosh, your responses aren't quite as quick as they used to.
Right.
We need to keep that first in mind. And we've got the right leadership in place. We're putting in the right people and help us as we go out and invest in more of the sales side of the business that we're able to support our current ecosystem and then our new business that we will go after.
And as somebody on the biz dev team and on the sales team personally, when I hear, you know, we're investing in technology and we're investing in some new solutions, that hopefully that's resonating with our sales partners that are on this call, right? Because you're going to be able to have access to these. You're going to be able to sell better, right? You're going to have more of a comprehensive solution available to you. And
got to get you on the phone. That's a nice job.
I mean, I'm in sales. I train people to get on the phones.
Right. There you go.
Come meet with me. I'll teach you how to talk. No,
he knows what he's doing.
I fake it till I make it, right? So with that said, though, right, we've had a lot of changes this year. New leadership. We were acquired. And there has been some concern from some partners about, well, how does that affect us? How does that affect our relationship in actually selling PayTrace as a product? Can you kind of describe what you know, what's going to happen to our partner channel, our resellers moving forward?
Right. So, you know, everyone knows we were acquired by North American Bancard. They're a payment processor, massive payment processor in the US. And that gives everybody cause for concern or pause.
Sure.
And PayTrace, you know, one of the things that me coming on board here is, you know, we are an independent organization. We're a subsidiary of North American Bancard. They are our parent company, right, and they lend us a ton of resources, which is awesome. But we are PayTrace. The company was acquired to do what we do, just to do it a whole lot better than we did, right? Grow it aggressively. And now we're no longer bootstrapped. We've got some resources that we're allowed to use and go out and aggressively grow the business. And when I say we're going to add product, we're going to add service, we're going to add tech, that is only going to help our current ecosystem, our ISO reseller channel partners and our ISV partners even better than what we do today.
Right.
So I'm asking for forgiveness as the team start reaching out to you all on a more proactive basis. We're going to be a pain in the rear end in some cases, but it's for us to better the relationship. We have a great relationship now. How do I take it to the next level?
Right.
And that's, you know, the investment in the people. Those people then begin reaching out to our current partner because the partnership is where we got to, or how we got to where we are today.
Right.
Nothing's direct, right? We grew through the channel.
Exactly.
So we're not there. Make no mistake, that's not going away.
Right.
The things that we do and build is to grow the channel, to grow it aggressively, and to support what we currently have now, and then go after areas that we're not as noticed, right? We have ISVs in certain industries that we want to go after that we don't have a brand in. We're going to build some tools to help us establish a brand, but those tools obviously support our existing ecosystem as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Greg mentioned it, right? You're probably going to hear from some people if you haven't already. Eric Jenks, most of you that have been on Power30s, you know Eric. Him and the relationship managers, we want to have these dialogues.
Yes.
Right. We don't want our partnership channel to go away. We're invested in no, please don't leave. No, we're investing in growing that, right? So we want to have these dialogues. We want to hear from you. We want this to be more of a true partnership instead of us just being a gateway, a product, a solution for you.
Correct.
We want to be a true partner and help grow with you. Right? Was that okay?
Man, are you on the phone after the call? That was really good.
I can be. I can be.
You should be.
So I'm going to have an ask, if any one of you want to have a discussion with us, with our relationship management team, with our biz dev team, please let us know. You can always get a hold of us at sales@paytrace.com. We want to make ourselves available because we want that feedback, right? So I'm going to actually have an ask right now. I don't have a poll for this. I have a lot of polls usually on these calls, but I don't have a poll for this. But if you have, asks or, ideas of how PayTrace can improve, whether it's product or anything, send that into the Q&A box right now. Again, this is going to be visible for us. This is your time to interact with us. So love to hear that. And while we do that, I'm actually going to take a look at our Q&A. And Greg, I'm going to put you under fire, man.
Oh boy,
We're gonna keep you on your toes.
that wasn't part of the agenda that I got.
I do have one question here that's about future product releases. And one is about specifically with EPX, right? It's a new network that we've certified to. We've got a lot of partners using this now, but there's not complete parity yet with some of our other networks, TSYS, Fiserv, things like that. Card present is a big one. Is there plans in the future to have some more card present hardware solutions?
Yes. If any of our PNC brethren are on the phone that I met with at Money 2020, this was one of the topics of discussion. We've been, full disclosure, working really hard and a long time on some card present with the Fiserv group to help support some of our partners. EPX has a few card present solutions that we'll begin to work through on our own. And for those that, EPX is the NAB parent companies. We're a full payment processor now.
Right.
And look, I want every one of our partners to work with us in its fullest capacity, not just on the tech side or not just on the processing side, but everything, right? The full solution, one-stop shop here out in the backyard.
Right.
Let us take care of everything for you. That was my sales pitch for the day. But yeah, we are looking to bring, and I'm a big believer in B2B, having more of a face-to-face interaction as more of these organizations, more of the ERPs, accounting systems, billing systems are soon going to challenge and rub paint with some of our retail point of sale systems, heck, even maybe some restaurant point of sale systems where it needs to have a face-to-face. It needs to be able to accept a chip, it needs to be able to accept a card in a card present environment,
right? And
tie back to that ERP or accounting system or systems in-house that they use. Mission critical. I think as the B2B business grows, and everybody knows that B2B is, every private equity, Visa, MasterCard, everybody talks about B2B.
Yeah.
As that grows, that need will continue to grow as well. So we'll have to be diligent, and we will work on not only our EPX internal. Again, I'm biased. We want everything in-house, but
sure,
we'll support our external channels with our external partners. We've got some, funny enough, I'm a payments guy, but I've got a great relationship with Fiserv, TSYS Global, right? PayTrace has been with them for some time. So I'm learning this new school of thought, but we will continue to build out products to support what our B2B ecosystem is looking for.
Love it. I love it. I kind of read in there, right, that B2B is going to be a little bit more complex and a little bit more integrated, right? A lot of people right now are still kind of ripping out virtual terminals and just plugging in new virtual terminals.
Right.
And that's going to change, right?
Yes,
so it's good to have options elsewhere and being able to connect with all these different processing solutions.
Correct.
One question that came through here, and I haven't even thought about this, to be honest, from Kellis, asking about buy now, pay later.
Oh,
right. You've been on the circuit this year, going out to these regional conferences, and I know it's been a hot topic. Does B2B buy now, pay later have the potential to emerge as the next fintech trend? Do you see any validity in that?
I originally said no.
Okay.
A year or two when this began to surface as a topic for, let's call it, smaller customers in the B2B world, we tend to play with larger organizations, sort of that middle to enterprise level customer. And my original thought is it's not a cash problem, right? I don't need to buy it now or pay it later, or the supplier that's supplying goods and services or the buyer that's buying goods and services. That audience, I didn't think was sort of key for that solution. But I just got back from Money 2020, and there is so many conversations around this. I'm an American Express user. American Express allows me to buy now, pay later if you have large transactions.
Yep.
It's everywhere. And so I'm thinking it potentially, if it continues to grow the way it is growing, that it will be a solution that that our partners are going to be faced with, right? I need to have this solution for my customer because of the supplier, or the buyers in this case, are asking for this service. I would buy my goods and services from you if you had a buy now, pay later option.
Sure.
And so we haven't had any discussions other than me and you talking about a theory.
Sure.
Right. But it is something that we will pay attention to for sure.
I'd add, from my perspective, I see B2B already as kind of the initiator of buy now, pay later, right?
With a 90-day PO?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, though, right? You usually pay out.
We're trying to solve for that problem, though, right? I want the 90-day to go to 48 hours.
How can we accelerate it? But also, how can we grow our customer base? And we have solutions like recurring payments where you can make installation payments. So I think I think there's a space for it there, but I am interested to see how that does emerge.
Yeah, I think as more and more entities from our brands and larger enterprise customers looking for solutions like that, I think it will be something we'll have to pay attention to.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Good question, by the way.
Yeah, really good question, Kellis. So a question from Todd, and you haven't met Todd yet, but he's like the original interchange optimizer. If you look at his LinkedIn profile, it says interchange op. We love Todd. Todd's one, grateful, hopefully we'll continue to win together. Love it, Todd. His question is there any plans to change the PayTrace brand name?
No, zero. But Todd, good to meet you via camera, and I look forward to having a conversation at some point. No, PayTrace is part of the love for me coming here. I worked tirelessly in my decisions to come here. One thing was just punches you in the face is PayTrace's brand.
Yeah,
why would we do that? 17 years of hard ass work.
Yeah,
right. We're not doing away with that. No, we're going to make PayTrace like the next level PayTrace, but it's going to be PayTrace. Right. There is I can't even fathom a reason why. I can't even make something up to say why we would even entertain something like that. But no, I want to make the brand, again, de facto, when you create it at Google or wherever, and you're looking for a B2B full payment solution, full AR solution, AP solution, any of these full stack world, I want us to be the first on the list.
I'd love it to get to the point where when people ask, what do I do for work? And I say, I work at PayTrace, that
everybody knows what that is.
They know exactly what that is, right? Exactly. Awesome. We've got a lot of questions in here, a lot of future products. Okay, interesting one. So from Sean's asking, will you still continue to work with partners that don't want to work directly with North American Bancard? They have their own processing relationship with Fiserv and want to continue that.
Right. For those that don't know, full disclosure, 98% of our portfolio is just that.
Yes.
Right. Now, me being selfish, whoever asked the question, I would love for him to work with us in a more, let's call it fulfilling capacity. But no, there is no change in our behavior. Again, PayTrace has built a massive brand, a massive solution for customers that need, let's call it a VT or interchange or level 2, level 3. I need to process with here because look, that's my book of business. That's where my best economics are. Understood. Right? We solved the problem back in the day. I want to solve more problems in the future, but no, without question, nothing is going to happen. And AB is not going to take your merchants. None of that. I've heard several things of that in some of my visits here and there. No, we want to continue to enhance that experience that you have, provide you more products and services to make your selling or your future efforts even better. And if it's on somebody else, so be it, we'll do it. But I would look forward to having further conversations, but no, we have a massive chunk of business, a massive community of partners that needs to continue.
Right.
That can't stop.
We don't want to turn away business.
These stay on for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not because we have this aspiration to go direct. No,
we're keeping the lights on.
Exactly.
You can see the lights in the reflection.
And we appreciate it.
We do.
So
we do. Wade asking the tough questions, right? We have had some turnover on our relationship management team. We've had some really long-standing. I've had some colleagues I've worked with for years that have moved on to new ventures. Wade's asking, right? What is kind of the contact for resellers look like with our sales team moving forward? And I'm happy to tackle this one if you'd like, or do you want to?
No, can I?
Yeah, please do it. Do it.
I thought this was my power.
I'll add,
not Sam's.
I'll add color to it.
Okay. Thank you for the question. It's almost like you paid someone to ask the question. For those of you that know Eric Jenks, he runs all of our relationship management team, and he dealt with the most turnover during the acquisition, however you want to phrase it. And he is now, I think we're back to, par on the teams, and he's slated to grow, hopefully double, knock on wood, we'll double that teams by middle next year. And I'm, recovering sales addict, relationship management teams and all that. That will be one of our biggest focus, if not the biggest focus for our sales efforts, to go out to our existing partner community. And again, like I mentioned earlier, grow that relationship. Like I asked for forgiveness, like they're going to bother you. we want to really go after that. So we're bringing in some really talented folks that have been in the ecosystem for a bit, have ideas. We want to be creative. I've had a few meetings with those, and hopefully some of those partners are on the call. I've loved our conversations and the enthusiasm behind what we're doing, where we're going, and some of the creativity and what that partnership looks like in the future. Holy smokes, you can't have enough of those.
Yeah.
So that is our intent, is to double down on our sales force on the relationship management side, build some really good, bring in some really good talent, but help bring some really competitive programs for our existing channels and for our new channels.
Yeah. And I'm seeing it firsthand. You know, I'm on the relationship management team with Eric, and I mean, right now we are making sure that every single partner of ours has some sort of point of contact. Right. So you're not going to be just going to a generic inbox, right? For right now, I want you to go to that sales inbox, but you're going to get a response from a person that's going to be your contact. So we want to keep that really personal relationship moving forward.
And we're short staffed in that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can only make so many phone calls or have so many quality conversations in a day.
Right.
So we need to double down on that team. And I think that team, I've always been biased. For those that know me for years, I'm super biased in our relationship account management. My last job, same thing. It's super important to the business.
Right.
I know it doesn't net a merchant at the end of the day, but man, if you can really knock that out and get that squared away, the output is awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. We only have time for a couple more questions. I have one here from Barbette, who I've worked with Barbette for a long time. She's asking about BIP and or AP solutions and how PayTrace is going to play in this arena moving forward.
AP, for those that know me, I mean, I want to solve that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And me being a payments guy and always on the acquiring processing side, I've never been on the issuing side, and AP is sort of in that world of the other side of the fence, right? The other side of the transaction. But it is something that I've paid attention to, not just here in my past life. I think it's important for us to look at what that opportunity could be. I don't have the perfect answer to that question right now. And what was the first?
BIP?
BIP.
I don't know if I
know what that is.
AP's accounts payable. I
Yes,
know that.
I know that. I apologize, and if they want to or reach out and we can follow up. I don't know if I know what BIP is.
Okay.
But on the AP side, it is something that I think eventually us people, right, the acquiring side of the business, the AR side of the business, will have solutions that sort of couple the AP side.
Buyer initiated payments.
Okay. Yes, I mean,
Similar.
It's similar. I'm trying to think of a creative answer for that, and I don't have one. Like, you put me on the spot. But similar to the AP side, for those that know the AP AR, it's now getting to the point where there's so many portals and apps that people can pay their bills on or see invoices on. And then now you have the payable side of the fence. And I don't want to be a payable guy. Then I got to log into 14 different solutions because I buy from 14 different suppliers.
Right.
That becomes problematic. So these AP solutions now are trying to simplify that effort, or buyer initiated payments, simplifying those efforts. And we have to figure out how to sort of couple that into our role at PayTrace and how that benefits our partner ecosystem. And I don't have the perfect answer for that one.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
great question.
It's a good question. Yeah. When you stump Greg, that's a pretty good question.
That's not very hard.
Well, I know we're wrapping up here on time. So I know that there's a few questions that we weren't able to tackle here live, team, but again, we'll get these in front of the right people to give you a response. But I do want to just say, well, really ask Greg, right? You've got a captive audience here right now of our partners. Do you have any asks of them, or what can they do to work closer with us?
So they've done fantastic up to this point. And I mean that sincerely. We've gone through all sorts of changes this year. We've had some hard conversations on the phone with some of our longstanding partners, and we'll probably have a few more of those. I'll be honest, right? We'll have a few more of those. Just ask for patience as we go through some of this, as the build out on the RM team, as the build out on our product suite. Continue to give us sort of the trust that you've given us over the years.
Yes.
I promise you that we won't go back on that, right? We will continue to push our agenda to support the ecosystem the way we have for all those years.
Right.
Scott was pretty adamant about that in the buying process or the selling process of PayTrace. And that's a non-negotiable for us, right? Those are items that we will continue to use as, let's call it the rails in which guide our future.
Right.
And again, it's not going to please everybody. All the things that we do or the decisions we make, we'll do our best to please the total population. And if it's not something that they like, then we welcome the phone call. I've jumped on a few of these phone calls over the past 6 months. And to be honest with you, at the end of the phone call, we've got a path forward. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm asking for. So as we go through all of this, as you start seeing more and more product announcements, partnerships, areas and channels that we're going after, those are good things for the organization. And it doesn't mean that we're abandoning what we did the last 17 years. Right. I really want to make that clear that we're not abandoning anything. A lot of people here, when I first got here, that was like, oh my gosh, so we're going to go do this. And now we're not going to do this anymore. No, we will continue to nurture and grow our existing channel, our reseller partners. Right. But we're going to aggressively make our product better, more scalable, and go after industries that we may not play in today, but take everybody along for the ride. Right. Now we've got this massive distribution channel. Let's take advantage of it. So
I love it. Yeah. So I think it's fair to say, right, we want to keep that feedback loop open.
Yes.
I think that's really important. Is we want to hear the positives, we want to hear the negatives, we want to hear everything. So if we can launch a poll really quick, if you want to have a conversation, if you're getting off this call and you're like, man, I'm juiced up on PayTrace right now, or I've got some things that I want to say, let us know. We'll reach out to you directly and schedule some time, and we'll have that discussion. So while you're wrapping that up, Greg, I just want to thank you, man. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Do that. We're supposed to shake hands.
Sure, I guess.
Do I get to do this again?
Fist bump.
Oh wow, that was like not really, but maybe.
We're getting a thumbs up.
Our director is saying I do get to do this again.
All right.
This was super fun.
This was fun. Yeah. I appreciate it. You're very good on camera. So
it's easy when you've got like the MC. You're like the Graham Norton of podcasts for PayTrace.
I hadn't heard that one yet.
Yeah.
Graham Norton. All right. I'll work on my accent. But thank you all.
Cocktails in front, maybe he puts out cocktails for the guests. So
hey, I mean you're El Presidente. If you're cool with cocktails, we'll do it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Yep. Thank you, everybody, for checking this out. Again, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you, and hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. Take care.